Hi, I'm Paul. So I wanted to make one more video before the end of the year about getting your audio correct for YouTube or other internet platforms. So I made two videos about configuring Audacity and using it to get the audio levels closer to the ideal level for uploading. And then I made another video about using DaVinci Resolve to get the audio level at the proper loudness. And I just briefly went over using DaVinci Resolve's Equalizer in that DaVinci Resolve tutorial. So this tutorial is going to show you how to really get your audio clean. And I also created a free PDF for this tutorial that you can download for free. You don't have to give away any information, no email address or anything like that. And I'm going to be following along with it as I'm going through this tutorial. And I'll leave links for those other videos that I created and for DaVinci Resolve and Audacity in the description of the video. So of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and put my headphones on and then we can get started. So it's December 31st, 2023, and there are people in the neighborhood blowing off fireworks, so you may hear that in the background from time to time. It's about a little after 10 o'clock in the evening. So I've got DaVinci Resolve open, and I've already dragged the this is just an audio file. It doesn't even have the video. This is just an audio file to show you how to use the equalizer. It would be the same thing if I had a video and brought it in. It's not going to be any different. So if you haven't downloaded in DaVinci Resolve, go ahead and do that. Then start a test project. So we're looking at the same thing. Come up to Workspace and select Reset UI Layout so everything looks the same. And then I'm just going to drag this audio file down here on the timeline. And
mini as the XT4
here.
This the XT4, it's much heavier camera. So when I take this camera with me to
and this is just it's just a short clip from a video I did about, I just took out a piece of it for when I did the video with my Fuji X-T30. So to fit everything on the timeline, just select this little icon right here. So now you'll see everything. So we're in the Edit tab right now. So we're going to go over to Fairlight, and this is the audio section of DaVinci Resolve. And then come up here to the upper right-hand corner. Mixers and meters should be already selected. Just select Inspector. And then click on the audio track anywhere in the green, and you should see the red border around it. So what we need to do is start an in and an out point, and you can either do this in the Edit tab or in Fairlight. So just drag let me mute this. Drag the playhead to the left or just click the rewind button. And then what you want to do is press the letter I on your keyboard, and hopefully it will detect the end of the clip. And the reason you need an in point and then this is the out point is because when you go to render this, in other words, create the final audio file or video, it is only going to process what's between these points. if your in point is way out here or off, or your out point all the way out to infinity, it's going to process that. And you're going to have a long video because it's processing just dead air. There's nothing there. So I'm just going to press O again to set the out point. There's a scroll bar down here at the bottom. So you should see this green line across the entire length of your audio, your video track. So now we're going to come up here and to this 3-dot menu icon. We need to select lock metering to transport. Click it again, select absolute scale, and you should see -14 right here. And then come down here and select, this is right now in this version of DaVinci Resolve, this logarithm for calculating the loudness level is BS 1770-4. We're not going to get into getting the proper loudness level. We're just going to work with the equalizer, but we want everything set. If this doesn't say -14, I did a video about this. I'll put that in the link of the description also. Come over to File, Project Settings, come down to Fairlight, and you want to change this to -14. So I did a video about setting up, about making these changes and creating presets, and I'll put the link to that video in the description of this one also. The other thing that we want to do is come over here and change where it says order under the track for A1. We want to change this FXDY EQ to EQ FXDY. EQ is equalizer, FX is effects, and DY is dynamics. It seems like this is the way you probably will always want it selected whenever you're processing. So it processes everything in order. The equalizer first, then the dynamics, or then the effects, and then the dynamics. So to bring up the equalizer, come down here where it says EQ, and then anywhere in here, just double click. If this line is blue, it's active. If you click on it once, it turns it off and it's inactive. So just double click it. The equalizer opens, and it was gray when I double clicked it. So if it is off, just come up here and you can turn it on. So if it's on, it should be red, and you'll see this line. Okay, on this screen, this is where you can close the equalizer. Once you're done making your adjustments, you can just go ahead and you can either create a preset, or you can go ahead and just close it. If you want to add a preset, you click on this icon, little plus icon. If you want to reset everything, if you've just made a mess of everything, just click on this little curled arrow with the plus sign, and it resets it. The active bands are in red. We want all the bands active, so just click on band 1 and band 6. These knobs are for adjusting the frequency. This is for the gain. This is for the Q factor, and I'll explain that in a second. And these little drop downs are for filters. And I explained in the video, in the PDF, if you want to create a preset, and then if you need to delete a preset. So that's, well, we'll work on that as we go through this. So what we're going to do is for band 2, so this first filter, okay, let's go over to this one. This is a high pass filter. So in other words, right now, anything that's at 70 hertz, it's going to start, any of the lower frequencies, it's going to start keeping those suppressed. It's starting way down here at -20, so it's slowly cutting those lower frequencies out. So if there's rumble in the background or low frequency noises, typically you can adjust this from anywhere from 70 to 100, depending on your voice or whoever you're recording. I keep it at 80. So you use this knob to adjust it. You cannot type in here, but if you put your mouse in there and then left mouse click and roll your mouse left to right, you can make fine tuning adjustments if it's difficult doing it with the knob. Over here on band 6, this is the low pass filter. So right now it's set to 22 kilohertz, so it's letting lower frequencies pass through, but the higher frequencies, it's cutting them out. It's suppressing them. I usually set this to 12 kilohertz. And again, this is just personal preferences. Band 2 is a low shelf filter. It's the default. The second one right here is the bell curve. This one is a notch filter, and this is the high shelf. That's explained in the PDF, but just select the bell curve for band 2 and band 5. So band 1 has the high pass filter, band 2 through 5 has the bell curve filters, and band 6 has the low pass filter. And what we're going to do is we're going to start playing the audio. I'm just going to press the play button, and what we're trying to, unfortunately you can't make this any smaller, what we're trying to hear is the distortion. So I'm going to rewind this to the beginning, and I'm going to start playing the audio. And then what I'm going to do before I start playing it is I'm leaving these settings here. I'm not changing anything here. The frequency range, I'm just going to leave. Turn your gain all the way up, and before you start playing it, make sure that your audio level and for your speakers or your headphones especially is turned down, so you don't, especially if you have headphones on, it's not too loud and damages your ears. Most people will just pull the headphones away until they start playing hitting the play button to make sure it's at a safe level, because you don't want to damage your ears. Turn the gain or the Q factor all the way up. So the gain is making at this frequency, it's increasing the amplitude, and we want it all the way up. The Q factor is how wide the range of frequency is. So 10.3 is narrow, and it just gets wider. For me, typically set it at 5 when I'm done, but for right now, we want these both at the maximum. So you can sweep through the frequency range by using the knob, or you can just grab, and then you can just move it around, but I would keep it all the way up to the top, and we're just going to go left to right. I'm going to start playing this now. Oh, I have it muted.
Much heavier camera. So when I take this camera with me to work.
So what I'm listening for is that distortion, and you can hear it,
and it's just nice. It's just a nice light.
And I'm looking for that where it's really heavily distorted. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down to minus, and this is just my personal preference, minus 3 dB. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And then the Q factor, I'm going to turn down to 5. And then start playing it again.
Wait, camera to carry around doing street for.
And I'm going to do the same thing for bands 3 through 5.
Photography. So it does have a touch screen.
And that sounds really bad. So again, I'm just going to turn it down to minus 3 dB, Q factor to 5. Start playing it again. Oh, LCD. I'm going to turn band 4. Oops. Band 4 gain all the way up. D on the back, and it tilts out. It doesn't flip out, which is okay because you can tilt it down and you can hold it over your head if you want to get it higher up, and you can still see the screen. It does. Again, you can play around with this. You're just trying to find where it's at the worst. At the worst level. Or where the distortion is across that section. So the distortion, most of it will be down in these lower frequencies. This is 2 kilohertz. As you get up to the higher frequencies, there's usually less distortion. It does have a built-in flash. Just press this little button and the flash pops up. But you can also mount an external flash on the hot shoe. And I'm doing this the same for all of them, -3 dB. I mean, you can play around with it even more, but that's, again, it's all personal preference. So I'll rewind this and start playing it. Mini as the XT4, but this the XT4, it's much heavier camera. So when I take, I'm going to pause it, turn the equalizer off, take this camera with me to work, and it's just nice. It's just a nice lightweight camera. So it might be really subtle, but it does make a difference, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get get as much distortion out of it as possible. Carry around doing street photography. So it does have a touch screen LCD on the back, and it tilts out. It does, and that's usually how I set it. So let's create a preset. So click this plus button, and I do this for every microphone that I have. And I want to create a new one, and I'll call it just test mic preset. And now if you use this drop down, well, let's just reset it. Okay, use the drop down, and there it is. And now at this point, you don't have to save anything. You just click this X up here in the upper left-hand corner, close it, and then continue on with everything else as far as getting this at the proper loudness level. So I'm going to open the equalizer again. A lot of panels in DaVinci Resolve, if you click this 3-dot icon, it will have an option for deleting the preset if you want to get rid of it. For some reason, the equalizer doesn't have it. It just has a copy and paste. So if you want to delete a preset, I'll show you how to do that. But before I do that, I'm going to make a change in this. I'm going to bring this up to 100 hertz. And now I want to save it. So click the plus button. So we're updating it. Now I can either update it by clicking the update button or create new. Sometimes what happens is and I don't know, I think it's just kind of random, it won't come up with this option. What happens is it comes up and it like this, and it wants you to like create a new preset. You can, as long as you remember what you named it, you can name it the same. So I will as long as you're naming it the same, it's going to come up with this window, and it's going to ask you if you want to overwrite it. It just seems to be one of those quirky things that sometimes it doesn't always, even after you make a change and you just want to update it, it doesn't come up with that update window. It's as if it needs you to do it over. So you can just select overwrite. Now, if you wanted to delete a preset, you have to be in the Fairlight tab. We're this audio panel that we're working with now. Come up to Fairlight, presets, select presets library. Oh, here it is. It opened it up in another screen. This is one of my complaints about DaVinci Resolve, is that everything is so dark. So here's the presets library. So this is what we want to delete. If you use this drop down, here are the different panels that don't have the option for deleting presets in the under that three-dot menu icon. The equalizer is the first one, so you don't have to select it. And down here is the one that we want to get rid of. So just click on it, and then the delete button is no longer grayed out. You cannot delete these presets that DaVinci Resolve has pre-installed, and that's why the button is grayed out. So if you want to get rid of this one we just created, just click on delete, and then delete when that window opens, and then just click the X to close it out. So that's it for using DaVinci Resolve's equalizer to get your audio even cleaner. After that, then the video about using Fairlight to get the proper loudness level would be the next thing you do, and that's all covered in that video. So I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.